Hey everybody, it's Eric from XLADV. I know it's winter time for a lot of you, and for us here in Southern California, it's no exception. It's a really chilly 72 degrees here today. So you can see I'm wearing my flip-flops, but I do have long pants on, so I don't want to catch a chill or anything. I might get sick or something. So anyways, I wanted to put together this video. I saw a similar one on YouTube for another bike, and I thought it'd be a good idea to take a look at how to outfit your bike for adventure. Many times we purchase a bike and we think, hey, we want to ride it off-road, but it's not really ready from the factory. And a lot of people often wonder, what should I do to my bike? What sort of farkle should I put on it? And what's this all going to look like when it's done? Have I forgotten anything? So I thought, you know what, I'll just take a look at my bike, give it the old once over, and we'll see if we can't add some insight to that question. Now, I've had my bike for about 4 years now, so it's taken me quite a while to get all this equipment. You'll try something, it'll break, so you buy something new that does work, and you kind of learn over time through your own mistakes or whatever. Just the terrain you're riding, of kind of what works and what doesn't. So hopefully you can learn from my mistakes and get a good feeling for what's going to work and what's going to help you ride your bike off-road safely and in a way that's going to protect your investment. Okay, so here we are in my lovely garage here with my 2011 BMW GS Adventure. I'll go ahead and talk about my wheels first. What I ended up doing is through a series of my own mistakes, the first being not running my rims high enough in pressure. What I did is I did the LAB to V in November of 2011, and I had my bike about 9 months, and I ran it with about 20 pounds of air, and I ended up destroying my OEM rims, which obviously were quite expensive. I eventually did get another set of rims, OEM rims that is, but then I finally thought, it'd be nice to have a second set of rims, one for street, one for dirt, so I went ahead and bit the bullet and got myself a set of Woody's wheels. Now you can see here my front wheel is a 21 inch, and you're wondering, I wonder why I did that. Well, 21-inch wheel is generally going to make it easier for you off-road to go over various obstacles. And it's going to help you get through some technical situations a little bit easier and handle a little bit better in the deep sand as well. You're going to give up a little bit of performance on the pavement with your cornering. But look, I still got my original set of rims, so whenever I want, I can put the street tires, the 19-inch front back on and do canyons just fine. Yeah, so another thing about the 21-inch wheel is, you got to figure if you're going to invest in a second set of wheels, one for dirt and one for street, you got to ask yourself, why not go to a 21? If I'm going to have a second set of wheels, I can still go back to that 19-inch front. I can still enjoy that cornering if I want. So I thought, why not get the 21? So that's what I went ahead and did. As you can notice here, the fender is not on. The fender will fit. It's just that the clearance under there is not too great. And if you get, any mud up there, it's going to pack up and not be good. And luckily here in Southern California, it's pretty dry most of the time, so I don't end up riding through a lot of muddy conditions. But when I do, I'll tell you what, a lot of it comes straight up here through the triple tree and kind of up into my face. So I tend to try to avoid the mud. There's a couple aftermarket solutions you can do, a couple fixes where you get basically a dirt bike fender and you cut it in half. You do a little bracket here for the front part and a bracket here for the back part, and it seems to work pretty well. Okay, so on the back here you can see I have a kind of the stock size 17-inch wheel here from Woody's. These come tubeless. He will seal them. After about 2 years, the seal on mine started to fail, which is not really that uncommon. Woody will reseal it for you for a fee. I think it's under $100. And he says he has a process now that's even better than it was before. So I'm thinking about sending these wheels back pretty soon and getting them resealed just so I can go back to tubeless. I've been running tubes in here, which is not really, it hasn't been an issue for me. You know, I get the occasional flat, and it's not really that big deal to change a tire. It is, you know, it takes longer than a plug for sure. A plug takes about, you know, 5-10 minutes, and replacing the tube in the back takes about 35-40 minutes. So I'll let you see my Woody shirt here. A little plug out for Woody there. Basically, the advantage of Woody's wheels are they're going to be lighter and stronger than stock. And if you ride off-road a lot, you're really going to want that strength. The factory wheels are just generally kind of soft. And you're going to find, even with running higher air pressures of about 30 pounds or up or higher, that you're going to get a dent now and then. You're going to have a loose spoke here and there. So again, the advantage of Woody's wheels are they are lighter and they are stronger, and they're going to last you a long time, and they're really better suited if you tend to do a lot of off-road riding like I do. Okay, while I'm still seated here on the floor, I'm going to tell you a little bit about the suspension I got. The factory suspension that comes with these bikes is pretty much inadequate, unless you're maybe a 175-pound rider and you don't take your bike off-road too much. And if you think about it, you know, if you just bought like a stock four-wheel drive pickup truck, let's say a Toyota Tundra from the dealer, you probably wouldn't take it racing down in Baja. You need to basically redo the entire suspension. And with a motorcycle, it's really no different. I quickly found out that, you know, I'm a big guy. I'm 6'4", 225 pounds. I quickly found out that the stock suspension just wasn't adequate. So went ahead and got myself outfitted with a new set of shocks, and I rode those for about 3 years, and they finally gave out. And now I'm really happy to be the first person in the US actually to test out these new shocks from TFX out of the Netherlands. Here, let me have you take a look here. So if you've been watching the internet much, videos of these big bikes being ridden off-road, you've probably heard of Isaac Feliu from Spain. He runs his own adventure motorcycle site called Moteras, which I have a sticker for right there. And Isaac has been running these TFX shocks, and I'm really amazed at his riding. I see him go over these bumps and these water bars and these jumps, and I'm like, you know, my bike just won't do that. I mean, obviously Isaac's a better rider than I am, but I know kind of what my bike can do and what it can't. And I thought, you know, it'd be really great to get a hold of these shocks and see how they do. So I was lucky enough to be the first in the US, like I said. I got them through Ted Porter's Beamer shop out of Scotts Valley, California. Now, Ted is known throughout the industry as a suspension expert, especially for people who ride BMWs. So I got these shocks from him, both front and rear, and I got to tell you, I've been really happy with them. They behave very well. They completely transform the bike. You know, I'm not bottoming out anymore, and, you know, I can ride, you know, all day long and not be as tired as I used to be. But generally, they just make it safer for you to ride if you're not bottoming out. I mean, you can handle these obstacles a lot more safely, and it hasn't really caused me to go any faster, but it's just helping me go more confidently and safer. So once again, these shocks from TFX Suspension, they're quite nice. They're made with very high quality, high-end componentry. The valves, the shaft is wider. It's made with, you know, aircraft grade steel and aluminum. So it's really, really top-notch componentry here. So I want to give you a look at the front TFX shock here. Take a look. They do have one with an external reservoir. This is standard emulsion shock, but they do have one with the remote reservoir. It's a little bit more sturdy. So I started out talking about wheels and shocks, and the reason I did that is because those are really the two, I think, most important things that are going to make the biggest difference for you when you ride off-road. But let me go over a couple other things. One thing here are these pivot pegs that I got, and actually this side the spring's not working, but you can see these pegs, they pivot, and not only that, but they're wider than the stock pegs, and what that does is it provides more comfort for your boot when you're riding on the pegs all day. It also makes the bike easier to control, and it can save wear and tear on your boots as well, because again, you know, it's a little bit wider. So those have been really great. There's other pegs out there, you know, from Black Dog Cycle Works, Fastway, etc. There's a bunch of really good pegs out there. The biggest factor you're going to want is simply a larger surface for your foot. If it pivots or not, it's really not a big deal. Some people don't like pegs that pivot. But another feature that comes with a lot of these pegs is they're lowerable. These pegs, just by reversing them, you can lower them about a ½ inch, and for me as a tall rider, that really made a big difference. I'm running risers up top, and even with the 2-inch riser, when I lowered these pegs a ½ inch, I really felt a difference. It made it a lot more comfortable and a lot more secure to control there. So let's move on to the next item. Here we have a side stand footprint enlarger, and this is really key when you're parked off the tarmac, off the pavement. Many times in soft conditions, either sand or mud or gravel, you need a larger surface area here, so your bike doesn't fall over. You don't want to have to, you know, hold your bike up every time you stop to take a rest. And this one from Altrider is really great. This is actually the first Farkle I got for my bike when I bought it, and they actually took quite a lot of time in designing this. They designed it so it's very easy to catch with your boot. When you reach down to extend your side stand, it's easier to catch because it's got these teeth on it here, and it also will not rub against the muffler, and it doesn't provide a lot of extra weight, so it's not pulling down when you're riding. So it's really a great item to add. Let me go back to the suspension again here. You know, the stock suspension comes with like a plastic sleeve, and once you get rid of your stock suspension, you're going to need to have something to protect this shock from debris from your rear tire. So I went ahead and got this inner fender, plastic inner fender made by Meyer, M-E-I-E-R, and it's been pretty good. You know, it's just plastic. It zip ties in. You can see I actually have to replace this zip tie. But it's been good. It's got a couple cracks in it, but it's basically doing its job. You want to just protect that shock. I should probably put some duct tape on there. So this next item here is a TPS, or throttle potentiometer sensor, and it covers that TPS here. They said, yeah, you know, if you fall over and this thing breaks, I mean, your day's over. And I went ahead and got it before I really knew anything. But I have since, in the last 4 years, I've seen guys break this twice, and it did indeed end their day, and it's a pretty costly repair. So you just want to get this little cover. I think this one I got from Touratech. Touratech has since redesigned this part and now has a third connector point here. And the one I got here from Touratech, actually I was a little disappointed in the quality. Right here there was, it's not there anymore, I filed it off, but there was a burr, a very sharp piece of metal, and I never saw that when I installed it, and I really regret it because it ended up tearing up the left pant leg of 2 of my riding sets of riding pants, and that's pretty expensive, and I wasn't too happy about it. So, you know, when you put something like this on, just make sure it's got a lot of smooth edges. If it doesn't, you want to file it down or do something like that. And next I got these I think they're fuel line protectors. I think these are also from Touratech. I went ahead and got these. I honestly don't know that I really needed them. I haven't heard any situations where this stuff has broken for other people. But you know, I didn't know. I would say you probably don't need these, but if you do have them, I mean, great. But there you go. This next item here is a head cover. It's from Machine Art Moto, and I don't remember what these are called. I think they're called the X-Head cover. I'm not sure. They're basically very, very well made. You know, polyurethane or some sort of nylon plastic material. There's rubber padding on the inside. They're extremely well made. They're extremely strong. What they do is basically protect your cylinder heads from rocks and other debris. The stock covers that come with the GS Adventure are these like aluminum shroud, and whenever that aluminum gets hit or dented or scuffed, it starts to look really kind of nasty. And I actually had one that got ripped off on one of the tabs, so I thought, you know, I'm gonna go ahead and get some of these. I like the way they look better. I like the way they perform better than the old ones. So went ahead and got those. Again, they're Machine Art Moto. So you're probably also noticing that I've got these crash bars on, and they're definitely not stock. The reason why, I was in Death Valley. I was on this narrow mountain road that had a very steep drop off, and so I was kind of taking the inside track, and I ended up hitting a rock that was sticking out on the other side, the right side. It hit the crash bar right here, and it bent the crash bars. It completely racked them, so much so that it was pushing into the gas tank, and it was rubbing on the fork. So you know, I was told you really can't bend those back into shape, so I went ahead and got these new set of crash bars from Alt-Rider, and I've been very pleased with them. There's lots of interesting little features of these crash bars that are neat. One is it has this sidebar built in here. It's very effective in protecting your cylinder head. It also has this angle here, this particular angle. When your bike gets set down in the dirt, or you have an off or whatever, it already puts it in an angle that's much easier to lift your bike. So you're not lifting it with your bike maybe at this angle, you're lifting it from this angle, and that, you know, that difference makes it a lot easier to lift your bike. The upper bars here have been great. You know, I use them to mount my lights, I'll talk about later. But you'll notice that the stock bars have this loop here to give you a little bit more protection for the tank. And I have to say, I honestly haven't missed it. It would be nice maybe just for aesthetics to have, you know, bars that have that. But, you know, I went ahead and got these, and I really haven't missed them. I haven't been disappointed. You can see there's, you know, a few scratches in the plastic, but honestly, you put a little Armor All on there and it disappears. Okay, so this next item is the skid plate. I probably should have covered this third in order because it's very important. The stock skid plate is just completely inadequate, especially with the OEM suspension not performing that well, and my size, you know, being 6'4" and 225. I was bottoming out all the time, and it was always hitting that skid plate. You need something on here that's really sturdy. This is a skid plate from Black Dog Cycle Works, and for this generation of BMW bike, I have to say that this is the best skid plate out there. It's very tough, it's very durable, and the way it mounts is significantly better than you're going to see in a lot of different plates. The front here gets replaced with their own bracket down there. I don't know if you could see that. I don't know if you can see that really well, but you basically got 4 screws under here that go into the front bracket, and then in the back you've got a bracket that comes up and mounts directly to the frame, so any impacts back here are not even going to touch the engine. They're going to go right into the frame. And back here on the front, these front mounts here, they still mount into the engine case. However, underneath here, between the engine case and the skid plate, is a significant amount, at least an inch, of some pretty heavy-duty padding that's going to, you know, protect your engine case from any impacts. And I've got to tell you, I've never ever seen one of these skid plates fail, ever. And I've seen many other skid plates fail. I've never seen a Black Dog skid plate fail. Now you might notice with my center stand here, this open space. I did have a plate on there that I got from a guy, I think out of British Columbia, Vancouver or something. He goes by the name of Kildala. And I had that on there. Honestly, it performed, I guess, okay. One day it kind of ripped off, and I haven't put it back on since. I've talked to a lot of people that say you don't really need it. Maybe if you're crossing a lot of logs or something and you want to protect your muffler, but there's not honestly a whole lot back there, so I never put it back on, to be honest with you. Black Dog does sell a plate that fits that integrates well with their skid plate, but again, I never bought it. So I don't know if you've seen the stock auxiliary lights or fog lights for the GSA. I never liked them. I think the light output is very poor. I think they're in a very poor location. Anytime you set the bike down left or right, one of them is going to get broken. I think I broke mine probably 3 or 4 times, and you know, went out to the dealer and got that $28 piece of plastic, that collar that tends to break, and I got, you know, tired of it. So I thought, you know, I'm gonna do something different next time. So when I switched out the bars, I went ahead and got some LED lights, rigid D2 lights from, again, Black Dog Cycle Works. So these are the rigid D2 lights I got from Black Dog. So you can see they have 6 LEDs. They're extremely bright. I think the output here is about 1,800 lumens per light, so that's like 3,600 lumens of light you're throwing down the road. They're really, I gotta tell you, they're amazing off-road at night. Really lights up the track. I like it, you know, so I can see animals. I can see the relief of the road. It's actually easier to ride at night, surprisingly. Locally, we do this little ride at night in the summer up Saddleback Mountain, and I gotta tell you, it's almost even easier at night because these lights, like I say, they just show you the exact line. You can see every bump and every dip, so you can pick the best line. They're really bright though. When I ride with them on the road in the day or at night, I point them down a little bit so they don't blind oncoming drivers, but when I'm off-road, I tend to put them pretty much straight ahead, and they do very well. As you can see, this one on the right, I have this amber lens. They say the amber lens lends itself to better visibility in dust and snow and rain. It's also a little different, you know, for traffic. They see a yellow light, they're like, what's that? And you can see this one actually broke off, and I didn't replace it because I was just thinking, you know, cognitively, when people see a clear light and a yellow light, it just sort of, something clicks and they look twice, and that's kind of what you want when you're riding a motorcycle. Black Dog makes this really cool little 1-inch bracket that makes these lights really easy to attach to your upper crash bars. Very sturdy, very secure, and you know, these things aren't going anywhere. They're very, very sturdy, and I've been very, very happy with them. These lights were actually very easy to wire into the existing light switch on my controls here. So, you know, I just flip that and they're on. It was pretty easy. The kit does come with a switch. A lot of guys will put it here. You know, they'll drill a little hole and they'll put it right there or on the other side. But again, I just wired mine straight into there, and it wasn't a problem. Now, headlight cover is something else you're going to want to consider. You know, you get a rock up here and you break this headlamp, you got to replace the headlamp, the speedo, the whole assembly. Actually, not the speedo, but the whole headlight assembly can be very expensive, about $800. So it's a good idea to just come up with any type of cover. This is the BMW cover. It snaps in at 4 points here. There's really a number of different aftermarket guards here that are sold by Alt-Rider and Touratech and what have you. Some are kind of a grate with little holes in them. Some are more plexiglass or Lexan, like you see here. These Lexan ones are going to give you more glare. When you're on the bike behind, a lot of the light tends to reflect off here and up. And you definitely want to keep this thing clean, because, you know, it gets bugs and dirt on it, and it's going to really obscure your headlights. So you're going to want to keep that clean. I also got this oil cooler cover from, again, this guy out of Vancouver. He goes by the name Kildala. It's a pretty easy, small little cover there. It just keeps your oil cooler a little bit safer. You know, if you get a rock up there, someone roosts, and a rock goes in there and ruptures your oil radiator, that's going to be the end of your day. So a lot of people that do a lot of off-roading, they'll get a guard here for the oil cooler. So you might also notice these handguards here are not stock. The stock ones that come with the GS Adventure, they're not that bad, but they're not really that sturdy. They're kind of plasticky, and you know, the aesthetics of them, they look okay, but they look really stock, and I just wanted something more substantial. I do a lot of off-road riding. I do a lot of riding in the desert. I find that I'm constantly hitting branches and brush, and you can see all these scratches here, and I just wanted something a little bit more secure. So I got these Barkbuster Storm guards. They fit the bike real well. They're very easy to install. They go on, you know, no problems at all. They're very sturdy. You can see this aluminum bar here. They've got the little bracket that comes underneath here that attaches to the handlebar. They're very secure, and you know, I'm glad I have them. Okay, some of this stuff is probably not as, you know, off-road related. It's just, you know, general nice to haves. I got this dash plate here from TourTech that came with a little auxiliary port there. I honestly don't use that a lot, but what I do use all the time is this little USB port here. I, you know, can plug a USB in there, and I most often use it to charge my phone. But I've also used it to charge my GoPro or any number of other things. Ergonomics are really important when riding off-road, because you're going to be spending a lot of time on the pegs, and you don't want to be hunched over. It's going to hurt your back. It's going to make you fatigue quicker, and you're not able to control your bike as well if you're hunched over and in pain. So I went ahead and got these Rox risers. These are, I believe, 2-inch risers, and they pivot back and forth. You can find kind of a position that's comfortable for you. You can move them forward or backward, or, you know, again, whatever's best for you. You know, being 6'4", this was pretty much a must. I've even been told that I could use another inch in height on here. My buddy Terry, who's got a HP2, got a set of 5-inch risers. He's, I think, an inch taller than me. And once I saw those and rode his bike, I'm like, you know what, I could use a little bit taller risers. So definitely something you want to consider for off-road riding. So when I first started riding off-road, I found that these stock mirrors that I had were really annoying. They come loose all the time. They weren't that easy to adjust, and they just kind of looked very street oriented. And I found these mirrors from they're called double take mirrors, and they're made by a guy named Ned Cease, who goes by Neduro, and he actually raced into car, so he kind of knows what he's doing. And these mirrors use a ram mount, so they basically go right in here to this stock hole. They come up here with a ram ball and this ram arm here, so it's infinitely adjustable. And then basically the double take mirror just fits right into here, and they're really convenient. You know, you can adjust them, you know, in and out of the way. You know, if you're off-road and you don't really want your mirrors, you can kind of, you know, put them out of the way really easily, and then when you get back on the street, you know, you can put it back. They're not that expensive. They're about $100, and I've had these for about 3 years, and they've really taken a beating well, and they've held up. My right one here broke off on my last ride, and I better get that replaced pretty soon, or I'm gonna get a ticket from the police. This GPS mount here is also a ram mount. There's a little U clip that goes to the handlebars, then your standard ram assembly here, and this custom made mount here is for my Garmin 60 CSX. They make you know, mounts that'll hold a variety of different GPS. But one thing I wanted to show you is this power cord that I have here. It's like a 4-pin deal here. this is kind of an advantage to this Garmin model, is this 4-pin design is very secure. It really stands up to a lot of off-road vibration and abuse. The Garmin 62 went with a standard mini USB connector, and that really wasn't standing up to the vibration and you know, the off-road abuse. So I really like this. I had this thing wired in here, so it's always a power source for my GPS. It's really been invaluable. I really like it. It means you know, I was using my GPS just on battery power with two AAA, or actually two AA batteries, but I couldn't get it to light up at night. I couldn't get it to backlight until I got this powered. And trust me, if you've ever been in the dark trying to find your way with your GPS and you can't see it, you definitely want to have it backlit with a constant power source. So a couple things you're probably not going to see up here are guards for my clutch fluid reservoir or my brake fluid reservoir. A lot of guys I've seen buy these guards here, and I guess they're okay. I've never seen the need for them. I've never seen anyone have, you know, a significant get off on their bike where they damage their reservoir, but that doesn't mean that if you have one you made a mistake. I just, you know, I haven't seen the need to get one, so I never did, and I you know, been okay up to now. When you're riding off-road, it's important to have a tank bag to hold your stuff, maybe a power bar, you know, set of tools, head buff, hat, you know, patch kit, you know, pressure gauge, earplugs, whatever. But you definitely want to have a tank bag that's set up for more off-road riding. If you notice the angle on this bag, this is a Fandango bag by Giant Loop, and it's really been fantastic for me. If you see this angle here, it doesn't, you know, it doesn't come here or even here like a lot of more street touring bags. It's got this angle because when you're on the pegs and you're standing up and you're leaning forward on, you know, on the pegs towards the handlebars, you don't want this thing in your way. And this really stays out of the way. It's very durable. It's very rugged. You know, it's water resistant, holds my map, you know, holds all my stuff really well. And it holds up surprisingly well to a lot of off-road abuse. I've had this thing for about 3 years. And basically I just, you know, take care to clean the zipper. You know, I'll wax it every now and then with candle wax just to keep it moving. Nice and easy, but it's just been a great bag. This bag here is a Raleigh bag by Wolfman, and I've had this thing also for about 3 years, and you could tell, you know, it's seen its share of wear and tear. You can see this is ripping a little bit, but it's still very much intact. It still serves its purpose very well. I basically use this to hold my tubes, my tire irons, and my pump, and it's been, like I said, a really good bag. I took this actually to Bolivia and rode around Bolivia for 2 weeks, and it had all my stuff in it that I was allowed to carry because I was riding a small bike. I was riding a Honda XR650, and it was really awesome. Completely waterproof. It's not anymore. I've got a hole or two in it. I think it's from the tire irons that I had in there bouncing around. But it's really been a fantastic bag. It comes with these little cleats here that really grab on well, and these straps here that also grab on really well. Wolfman makes a really good product, and I've been really happy with it. It's held up very well. This luggage rack system I got from Altrider is just amazing. The surface area is just ginormous. I was gonna put, like, see how many beer cans I could stack up here on this whole thing to give you a good idea. I don't have any beer cans with me right now, but it's huge. I mean, look, I mean, it's ginormous. It fits so much stuff here. You know, it has different attachment points for if you have the GV luggage, or if you have a Rotopax, it'll fit right here. You can put like a GoPro mount in any of these holes. This thing's actually a bottle opener. You can put a bottle in there and open your bottle. It's been really great. It's nice to have a nice, firm, flat, solid surface to secure your luggage to. It's less likely to come off with all the bumping and up and down from the riding. If you have a really secure, flat surface, it's a lot easier to secure your gear. You can put a ginormous duffel on here that takes up this whole space. You can put, I put actually this 60-liter dry bag filled with firewood. I took it up to Death Valley last week. It probably weighed about close to 100 pounds. It's really amazing. It's very versatile. It's sturdy. It's solid. This piece here I can take off and put my pillion seat back on there, so this is removable. And on some of the other seat configurations, if you have a higher pillion seat, there's a riser that goes in here, so this rear one can lift up higher. But again, it's been really great. This is the Altrider luggage platform system for the BMW GS and GS Adventure. So you can see I got my hard panniers here, got my Lost for a Reason wrap here. We do a lot of fundraising, a lot of rides for Lost for a Reason. You might want to check them out. They're kind of like the official charity of adventure riding. There's so many different, industry sponsors. Wolfman and Rigid and Climb and whatnot. Brad Barker's Ride of My Life. ADV Moto Magazine, Black Dog, Lay It, etc. A lot of sponsors who give money that basically goes to help children and families on the Navajo reservation, in addition to a couple other new projects that are coming out shortly. Anyways, yeah, the hard panniers, I probably wouldn't do this again. A lot of people like the hard panniers. They're nice, they're secure, good place to put your gear. They're generally going to be watertight. They're secure, you can lock them. I mean, that's pretty nice to have, but a lot of my riding I do off-road and not on the pavement. And I've seen a couple times, a couple buddies I've been riding with have had their legs kind of pulled back underneath the pannier. Like if you're riding along and you come to a sand wash and you start doing the Harley shuffle, so you don't want to tip over, your legs really likely to get pulled back underneath here, and I've seen a lot of fibula fractures due to that. They do make a nice place to put a bottle opener, but I think next time I would I definitely go to soft panniers. I actually have a set on order. I'm going to try out the new Altrider Hemisphere soft bags. They have a lot of carrying capacity, and again, they're soft. And honestly, everywhere I go, I've been able to, take my panniers off and take them into the room with me. So I'm not as worried about security. So I'm going to go ahead and forego that for a little bit more safety, a little bit more flexibility on the road. And again, I think my next bike, I'm not going to even buy the hard panniers. And I'm pretty sure I'm not going to miss them. This little piece here is this final drive protector from a company called Twalcomm. There's a website, Twalcomm USA, but I think they're made in Italy. And it's basically just a little aluminum guard that secures underneath here on your final drive, and it kind of protects that this joint here in the underside of your final drive. I thought, when I got it, I wasn't sure if I needed it or not. And then every time I take this thing off, about every 6,000 miles for when I'm changing the oil in the final drive, I notice like all the scars on the underside. I'll give you a chance to look at those here. So it's definitely taken some hits. I'm glad I got it. It's something you might want to consider. I've seen also a lot of people will put like frame sliders here. That's not a bad idea too. That's basically just going to help you, if you fall over on this side of your bike on the street, but not necessarily from any rocks or logs or sticks coming up from this direction. Back here to the controls here, this is my clutch lever. This is just a really low-priced adjustable set of levers I got off eBay. They're just a little bit more ergonomic, and they're more adjustable than the stock. And you know, when you're off-road, you're doing a lot of, you know, throttle clutch brake, you know, clutching with 2 fingers, braking maybe with 1 finger. These are just, they make it more ergonomic, and I think the more comfortable you are and the better you can control your bike, you know, the more safe you're going to be off-road, and the more competent rider you're going to be, and the better time you're going to have. So you might want to consider some of these. They really weren't that expensive. This is a toolbox that I got from a guy named Dave, and his company is called advgear.net. And this toolbox is one of his first generation ones. If you check out his website and take a look at them now, you'll see that they're a little bit more sturdy, a little bit better built. This one's been fine, but you know, his newer ones are a little bit better. I think his new hinge is a little better, although this is fine. His new doors are sealed better than this one is. But this one, like I said, it's held up really well. These straps here hold it to the bracket very well, and they're secured, screwed through the pannier bracket there. So those 2 points, and then here, so 3 points of attachment. One thing that's kind of critical here is this little cutout right there. What that's for is for this brake bleeder valve, because with this toolbox in the way, when your suspension compresses, this thing is going to crash right up into the box if that cutout wasn't there. That's important to know, because there are a couple aftermarket toolboxes that don't have that cutout, and you're going to have a problem when your suspension compresses. Another thing you'll notice here is this door opens on this side, so yes, you do have to take the pannier off, but the other toolboxes have a little tiny door here, and if you notice, I mean, if there was a door there, I mean, you're not going to be able, it's going to be really hard to get in and out of there. You're not going to be able to fit a tool roll through that passageway, but with this door here, you know, it'll be fine. And what I keep in there basically is my tool roll. I fit a couple tire irons. I fit my hand pump, and the punch tool for the tubeless tire patch kit. So hopefully that does it. Gives you a good idea of how to outfit your bike, your GS Adventure or GS or other bike, for riding it off-road. If you have any questions, go ahead and leave a comment below, and check us out on XL ADV. Thanks.